I have heard from a very reliable source, no Dominican male has ever died a virgin. I shall be the first.
Not on my watch.
Do not trouble yourself. Nothing I've attempted has been ameliorated. First, stop using...
Okay, you are watching a scene from the premiere stage adaptation of Junot Diaz's Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Brief, Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, a production now playing at the Goodman Theater. And so director Wendy Mateo and actor Lennon Izquierdo, who plays Oscar, are with us to talk a little bit more about this world premiere. What an honor, right, to be at the Goodman?
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's
It's definitely a pinch me moment.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about both of you individually, but let's start with the story of Oscar Wilde. Who is Oscar Wilde? And I'll start with you, Wendy.
Wow, Oscar Wilde is the titular character of Junot Diaz's Pulitzer Prize-winning book, The Brief, Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. And this production is an incredible homage to everything that Oscar is. Oscar is a dreamer, is an imaginative innovator, a writer, a self-proclaimed nerd, and one of the truly most wondrous characters I've ever met in literature.
Okay. Was it difficult to get the Goodman to take on this project, or were they like, let's do it?
They were such fans of the book, so it wasn't. It was an easy yes, I think, from their part. We did a reading of the play last year at their New Stages Festival, which is one of their pinnacle festivals for developing new work, and the crowd in the theater were on their feet, and I've never seen a reading get a standing ovation as it did.
Yeah,
so it was a yes from there, and Lennon played the role. Lennon fell in my casting lap like a dream,
like an angel.
Yeah, truly. And it was always Lennon's to begin.
Okay, so let's talk about Lennon and sort of your role in this, and where you're from, because you're very much a Chicago boy. So
Humble
describe
Park.
to people at home where you're from and what this is like for you.
Yeah, I mean, Humble Park, born and raised. I went to Sabin Magnet, which is the elementary school I went to. But like, you know, I grew up going to the Goodman Theater. I grew up going, I feel like as a lot of Chicago natives do during the holidays, you go to see the Goodman shows, you go to see A Christmas Carol. And I think for me, I knew that I always wanted to work at the Goodman. So to be able to be here now, especially telling a story that is so close to who I am as a human being, you know, I am Dominican. And so it's just surreal. It is a pinch me moment, as I said. It's like I'm getting to live out my dream, but also sharing a story that feels very personal to me, and personal to our culture, our identity, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah.
When you sat down here, you said it is so great to have people go to the Goodman and sort of be introduced to what it's like to be in a Latino living room, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it is.
It is. It's definitely, it's a world that I think a lot of people don't get to really see on a private level. The way that we as Latinos sort of live and interact with one another behind closed doors is a very different thing than it is when we present ourselves in the everyday world. And I think you're getting to see that in this show, the love, the passion, the sort of very intimate moments that we as Dominicans have with each other. And you see it, like there's those moments in the show where there's dancing and there's those intimate sort of just like conversations that you have with your abuela or your mom, and it's great.
Describe how this might be different than, I have never read the book, and I imagine that there are others who perhaps have never read the book, but what are the differences between the book portion of it and the production?
I think what's so unique about this production is that the book itself speaks from the perspective of Junior, who you will see in the play. And Junior is Oscar's freshman dorm mate at Rutgers University. And the book is told from the perspective of Junior and the perspective of other characters in the play, or in the book. And in the play, we get to see this story from the perspective of Oscar's inner world. Oscar is is fantastical. He's obsessed with Lord of the Rings and Watchmen comics and Akira and you know, Japanese animation and so all of those worlds, you get not only Dominican culture, bachata, perico ripiao, you know, merengue, but you also get American pop culture, and you really get the intersection of that makes us Dominican American, you know, that makes us Latino Americans. It's really that clash of intersection of pop culture and our culture.
Was there a difficulty for you in playing that role? Anything? What was sort of the most challenging thing? I would think anytime you take on a role, there are portions of it that you're like, ooh, I don't know if I can deliver.
I found the nerdy part to come very natural. I have a huge
I don't believe that.
I have a huge comic book collection. I love that stuff. But I think the hardest part for me was I think on the acting side of it, this book means a lot to a lot of people. Oscar means a lot to a lot of people. And I think when you're given an opportunity to play a character that is in, you know, a literary canon that so many people identify with, you want to do that justice, you know? And so for me, it was, okay, how do I approach Oscar in a way that is honest and earnest and is not going to be what the book version of Oscar is, but how can I as an artist incorporate my own understanding of this character, as well as keep in the back of my mind that there are so many people that identify with Oscar. He is an outsider. He is someone that, for better or for worse, is different, you know? And because of that, so many people gravitate towards who Oscar is, especially in that book. And so an adaptation of that always is in the back of your head of like, okay, can I do this? And we did it. We did it.
And you did it so well that it's now been extended? Is that right? Okay, so it'll run until when?
It's been extended until April 12th. So you have time to come see it, but tickets are selling really fast, and it just goes to show when you invest in cultural specificity, there is a universality to that story, and that is exactly what you will see. I think so many people relate to the familial dynamics and to feeling like an outsider and finding your people in the middle of it.
And I think these days we're seeing more productions like that.
That's right.
Which is lovely. Okay, so let's get the information up on the screen. If folks want to go see it, goodmantheater.org. You can go there to get tickets. Again, they're running until mid-April, really. For someone who maybe might be their first time going to the Goodman or their first time introduced to this production, what should they know? What they should go into it thinking it's lots of energy, lots of dancing, or is it more subdued? I guess what should they know? How should they prepare as they walk into the Goodman for this?
I think you should prepare for a wild ride. You will laugh, you will want to dance, but you may also cry. So
a little bit of everything.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. It's what we call a dramedy, if you will.
It's the hero's journey like you've never seen it before. It's a comic book story come to life, which is, I think, visually striking and so gut-wrenching that you're going to be laughing out loud and then crying the next minute.
There it is. He sold it. He sold it. Nice job. Thank you. Congratulations and good luck to you both.
Thank you so much.